Okay, so before we jump into everything, if you guys don't know, Poppy Playtime is actually split into multiple chapters, and each one reveals more and more about what really happened inside Playtime Co. But for now, we're going to focus on where it all started. Chapter 1. The chapter that introduced us to Huggy Wuggy, the abandoned toy factory, and the first clues that something inside Playtime Co. was seriously not right. So let's get into it. This game is way deeper than just scary monsters chasing you around. We're talking about experiments, hidden secrets, creepy tapes, and lore that honestly gets darker the more you look into it. So eventually, we're going to do a deep dive in the Poppy Playtime lore and connect all the pieces together. Okay, so I finally went down the Poppy Playtime rabbit hole for real this time. And I need to talk about it because why is nobody talking about how dark this story actually is? Like, yeah, on the surface, it's like a creepy toy factory horror game. Huggy Wuggy jumps out the vents and all that good stuff. But once you actually pay attention to the lore, it stops feeling like a game. And I'm not even being dramatic because it isn't just an abandoned toy factory. This place feels like it's alive, and I honestly don't like that. And I'm not gonna lie, like if you only saw the outside of this company, you would think it was like a happy place, like it's a huge toy industry, like Toys R Us or something. Like cute mascots everywhere, happy music, kids loving their toys. Everything was super polished and perfect. Like it's giving like Willy Wonka, and that's like why it's making me suspicious. Like as we all know, when something seems too good to be true and perfect, is literally the complete opposite. Okay, let's get into the lore now. So, 10 years before the game even starts, every employee suddenly disappears. Like, no answers, no explanation, and the factory shuts down. Now, imagine you, as a former employee, get a random letter saying that we're still here. Yeah, absolutely terrifying. And instead of just returning to sender and moving on with your life, we go back to the abandoned factory to figure out what's happening. And honestly, this is kind of like the first red flag because how are you stuck in an abandoned factory, but you can send me a letter through mail? Like, what? That literally makes zero sense. Like, honestly, did you go to the post office to deliver it and go back to the factory? Like, it literally is not adding up at all. When we first walk in, we see Huggy Wuggy standing in the lobby. At first, he just looks like a giant statue. Big smile, long arms, blue fur. Kinda creepy, but he's just a toy. Or so we think. The second we restore the power back, he disappears. Like, he's just like poof, gone. You don't even hear him walk away. And that's when the game starts messing with us because he doesn't chase us right away. He just watches us. You catch tiny moments where he's gone from where he was just standing, doors move, shadows shift, and suddenly you realize you're not alone in this factory. And somehow that's scarier than actually being attacked. Okay, let's move on to the VH tapes. So now this is where chapter 1 starts dropping major hints. Throughout the factory, we find old VH tapes, and these tapes are important because they show us that Playtime Co. wasn't just making toys. Something strange was happening behind the scenes. The company acted cheerful and kid friendly on the outside, but underneath, there were secrets, and later's chapter revealed something called the Bigger Body Initiative. Basically, experiments involving living beings and turning them into toy like creatures. Which means Huggy Wuggy may have not just been a toy at all, which makes his behavior way more creepy. Eventually, we reach the make a friend room. And in this room, you literally have to make a toy in order to leave the room. And this is where Huggy Wuggy finally decides playtime is over and he's done stalking you. Now he wants a chase. Yeah, so he actually chases you into a vent. So you're crawling through this vent while this giant smiling creature chases you from behind. Creepy as hell. And the whole time you're thinking, hurry up and move faster. Luckily, we managed to pull down this heavy crate, sending Huggy falling into darkness. And for a second, we think it's over. But of course, chapter 1 saves the biggest mystery for last. So we end up following this flower symbol, and we discovered a locked glass case, and inside, a doll named Poppy.
You opened my case.
And that's it. That's exactly how chapter 1 ends. No explanation, just question. Like, who sent the letter? What happened to the workers? Was Huggy ever human? And was opening Poppy case the worst mistake we could have made? And honestly, this is why chapter 1 works so well. It doesn't tell us everything. It gives us just enough to make us uncomfortable and then leave us wanting answers. But don't worry, because the deeper we go into Poppy Playtime, the darker the story gets. So if you want more lore and theories, just make sure you stick around because this rabbit hole, we're only getting started. Okay, like I said before, the biggest question is who sent the letter to us in the first place? So there is a couple theories on this. So first theory is that Poppy actually sent the letter. Okay, just think about it. The letter brings us back to the factory and somehow we end up exactly where Poppy is trapped at. Then when we finally open her case, she says, "You opened my case." Not shocked, not confused, almost like she expected us to. Yeah, a lot of people believe it's Poppy, but I personally don't agree with this theory because she needed us to open up her case. So how would she send the letter? Like, it's not adding up. She can't get out her case to send the letter, so how did she send the letter? Another theory is that they think the prototype sent the letter. And this one could actually make sense. Hear me out. He is known for being intelligent and controlling. Like, he's literally always 10 steps ahead. Yeah, so many people believe the prototype just lured us in for his own agenda. The third theory is that a surviving employee sent it. Like someone survived the disaster, someone's trapped, someone's hiding, and after 10 years, they found a way to contact us. The downside, we never actually met a survivor in chapter 1, which makes people wonder, did they die before we arrived? Like, did Huggy Wuggy eat him? Like, what is going on? Or was they never human to begin with? For me personally, I feel like this theory is way too realistic. Like, that's the way mob entertainment wanted you to think. So, I feel like that is not the case at all. Like, it gotta be something bigger and deeper to it. Now, the fourth one is that the toys actually sent it. Now, imagine Poppy, Huggy Wuggy, Catnap. All the experiments worked together to write a letter and sent it to you just to lure you in so they could freaking chase and attack you. Some people believe that the toys wanted someone to come back, not to save them, but to start something. And that makes the letter feel way more unsettling, like the factory wasn't abandoned, it was waiting. I don't know. This last theory got my head hurting because I cannot like make it make sense for nothing. I can't. So the last theory is that we actually sent the letter to ourselves. So people believe before leaving Playtime Co, we created clues and arranged for the letter to reach us later on. But I don't know, like I don't know why would we even do that? Like it literally makes zero sense to me. For me personally, I feel like the prototype actually sent the letter because I feel like the letter wasn't a cry for help. It was an invitation. The prototype wanted you there and that's exactly what he got. Okay, another question is why didn't Huggy attack us when we first saw him? Instead, he just stood there acting like a statue. Okay, now this one has a few theories, and I think my personal opinion was Huggy was waiting for orders. This one is dark because later on in the lore, it introduces bigger powers. Like Huggy, what? He's not the top. He's not the top man in the game. So the delay could have been he was waiting for permission, which makes it even more unsettling because there's no way. No way. The next theory is that Huggy Wuggy was just watching and studying us. This theory is probably the most popular one. Huggy doesn't immediately attack us after the power comes back on. Instead, he just disappears, and most of chapter 1, he honestly just watches us. Most people thinks he was just studying us, tracking our movements, and trying to figure out if we were a threat to him, and almost like a predator waiting for the right moment to attack. Which makes the vet chase seem planned, like he planned to chase us and it wasn't random at all. Honestly, it does make sense, but I don't know how I feel about it. Like, if he was trying to figure out if we were a threat or not, it makes zero sense because we did not threaten this man in no way, shape, or form for him to come out of nowhere and start chasing us. Like, it makes zero sense. But then again, it makes all of the sense in the world. Okay, this next theory is actually really sad. So remember in the summary how we basically said the experiments are like real humans who was turned into toys. So this next theory is that Huggy actually recognized us when we used to work there. Some people think that a part of Huggy Wuggy recognized us and that's why he didn't immediately attack us. Yeah, that theory is actually sad because what do you mean he recognized us? Like, come on. One of the biggest theory is that the player is actually being used. Like we're a pawn, every puzzle works, every path opens, and somehow we end up exactly where we need to be every time. Like someone wanted us moving through the factory, not exploring it, but following a certain path, which means our entire journey have been planned by someone. But honestly, I think the scary part about Poppy Playtime isn't even Huggy Wuggy. It's the fact that somebody wanted us inside the factory in the first place. Like from the second we got that letter, everything almost felt planned. Like the tapes perfectly planted next to the player. Like, no. And the deeper the lore gets, the more it feels like we still don't know who the real villain is. Is it Huggy? Is it Poppy? Like, who else is there? Because what if Huggy Wuggy wasn't even hunting us? What if he was just trying to stop us from finding something worse? But, anyways, besties, let me know your craziest theory in the comments because some of these honestly changed the way I looked at chapter 1. And if you want more deep dives into Poppy Playtime's lore and theories and hidden details, make sure you subscribe because this rabbit hole only gets darker from here. Okay, so before I end the video, I want to hear from you guys. Send me some video ideas you want to see in the near future because I'm honestly having so much fun making these videos. You know, creepy story times, deep lore dives, creepy theories. Like, do you guys want more Poppy Playtime lore, horror games, or just like creepy stories? Should I do some deep dives in other games too? And how we feel about the nails? Like, could we get into it? Look at the shape, look at the design. Oh my god, I am in love with. Oh, okay, got it. Anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe for more creepy content, and I'll see you on the next one.